Do you think
That's because it is.
Nice cock. Wait, no.
That's it. That's the cold opening. Is just Pino saying "nice cock" and then it cuts to the intro. No, you still got to remember the season 2 opening because
Well, I know season 2. That's there
you go.
I still can't remember number 3.
What?
All right, boys, are you ready?
I'm ready, boss?
All right. It's been probably 2 seasons since we've had this voice come back, am I right?
You're right. Boss,
Feels
you're
like
right,
it's been
you're
so
right.
long.
Whoa.
All right, one at a time, fools. Come on.
I'm
We ain't
sorry.
cavemen. It's okay. Chuck, I
Ooga
forgive you.
booga.
I don't forgive you anymore.
Oh,
Anyway,
no.
I've gathered the family members here in order to sit down to watch the God... hold up. My cousin Vinny's telling me he did not order The Godfather this time. He,
Oh, no.
he got
That's
some
our
sort of
favorite movie trilogy.
he got some sort of Japanese cartoon show that we're gonna
get
watch.
that off. Get that off a screen,
I know.
please.
I know
Shit,
that.
I'm sorry, guys. It was the cheapest thing I could find.
Look,
Why'd you... We're the mom. We got so much money.
we have. I don't understand you sometimes, Vinny. I don't understand you.
But the movie budget.
Yeah,
I thought. Nah,
we're
to hell with
we're a
it all.
family. I've got so much money. I can get a hair. I can get more hair on my hair.
You could make your own show.
I can make my own. You're right. And you bring me this on the day of my daughter's wedding. It's okay though. We'll just have these 3 fools over there review it for us. We don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
What are they called again?
I don't know. The stinky poopy were...
No, they were what the fanatical animation people? No.
I think they were the fart ass
No,
people.
that's,
No,
you're
no.
thinking of the frivolous authority punching bags.
No, you're thinking about the
No,
Federal
that would be
Association of...
Fab.
I almost said a different word there. Whoops, my bad.
It's okay. You've had a long day, Don.
You can't say that on television.
Hey,
We're
listen,
on
at least we're
TV.
on radio. Anywho, my voice hurts.
It's okay, boss.
Welcome once
So
again.
fucking dumb.
to the
What the
funky
fuck
anime
are we
family.
doing?
We're the FAF now.
I hate everyone.
Welcome to the
We the
FAF,
FAF.
guys.
We the
If you
FAF.
missed our horrible mafia accents, well, I did too. I don't know if the rest did. Oh man, how are you guys doing today?
Okay.
Doing okay? It seems like we're all kind of tired today.
It's gonna be a slightly more relaxed episode.
I don't know if you know what? Maybe 70% of it's gonna be relaxed. There's
I
gonna
know
be
that
one section
I know that
where our
I'm
testosterone
gonna
is
be
gonna go up.
salty, but it's fine.
I feel much better now that I get to talk in a silly voice.
Hey, I mean, I don't mind talking like this the entire episode. What do you say, Chucko?
No.
Alrighty then, let's move on. All right, so welcome back. It's every bi-weekly. I think we do this, right? Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Well, because so I have a fucking gripe with that word. By the way, I
is
know
it
that
because we ain't getting paid?
no. So fucking bi-weekly can either mean twice a week or every other week.
Yeah, he's got a point actually.
It's so stupid.
Let's just say we record every other week.
What?
Is that we just gotta find a good
The
word.
every
okay?
other weekly podcast.
the every other time.
Every other week.
Not this time, but next time podcast.
Who?
Oh, you know, not
That's
this
our
time.
tagline now.
Just the word who?
No, not this one, but the next one.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't. I'm legitimately confused. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Well, I can tell you what we're about to talk about.
I can tell it's a Pino episode though.
What year
It's
is
gonna
it?
be. It's right now we're a little bit dry, my friend. We're in the prohibition year right now.
Oh no.
You know why? Because we decided to watch 91 Days.
Well, we didn't decide to watch.
Well, we all
you
decided. We all agreed. Episode 1, we would sit down and agree to watch the episode that somebody chose. Am I right or am I right?
I don't know if I truly agreed to it, but I've gone with it for about 3 years now.
I mean,
so.
if you haven't stopped yet, that means you've agreed.
Oh.
Am I right, gamers?
He's white. He's the boss. He's white.
Wait, wait a second. I'm white.
No, wait. Wait.
White? Why?
Wait, I can't believe it.
Caramba.
I can't believe it. We're
Dude, I
hunting
can't
weapons.
believe we have. I can't believe we got Bart Simpson on this episode.
Ay caramba.
Dude, there was what was it? The Barton restaurant or whatever?
Barton restaurant.
And I immediately thought, I was like, Bart on restaurant.
Dude, Bart beyond.
Bart
Anyways,
is on restaurant.
we decided to watch. Well, I decided to choose 91 Days for the podcast.
Why?
Well, because I just wanted to. Come on.
Oh.
I don't need a reason. I just throw darts on the wall.
Well, sometimes you gotta have like a reason why. Is there any particular reason?
No, I just felt like I was in the mood to watch it again. I originally watched it, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago. When did we first watch Durarara? Was that season 1?
2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, so around there. So once I finished that, I think what happened was I then watched Bacchanal after. I watched Bacchanal after rewatching Durarara with you guys, and then I put Bacchanal on the list, and then I watched this right after I watched Bacchanal for the second time.
But then you
And I was
realized
like,
that Bacchanal's better than this.
well, I never said that. I watched 91 Days in one sitting, like within the same day.
Oh God!
So like, I watched it
that
in the
must have
morning.
fucking felt
I ate
like
lunch.
it took 91 days.
I mean, I felt good. I felt great. I mean,
That's the reason it's called that. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, Pino.
it's what it's called, right?
Yes, Pino. I know.
And it took
I know
91
that.
days.
I know that my brain might be small, but fucking a broken clock's right twice a day, baby.
I know, but
Oh, yeah.
it's 2:30.
What?
It's 2:30.
Hey, that's my dentist's favorite time.
What? I gotta stop this whole fucking. What came over you to make that exact statement?
Dentist
What
be dented,
Hoity,
dude.
you're tooth hoity.
Fuck this show. Fuck this.
You got him. I think you got me too. Jesus, it's 2:30.
So we're not gonna talk about the show, right? We're just gonna fuck around this.
I just need to drink this water before I can get serious again. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe I didn't catch on. That's unfortunate. I would have been so on board.
Hook, line,
This
and sinker.
this is the last episode of the podcast.
The punny anime podcast. I hope you enjoy it.
This episode ends with prohibition.
The PH is silent. Anyways,
This is the worst. This is the worst.
hey,
So
just let it
episode.
flow. Let it flow. Anyways, so since I already gave my little spiel on 91 Days on how I found out about it, what have you guys ever heard of it? Have you guys ever had any exposure to anything about this?
I've
I
seen
know-
Bacchanal, which is a better version of this.
It's true.
But what
I
were your
know-
initial thoughts before?
Well, because I knew. Oh wait, Garb, keep talking. I'm a fool.
Well, I mean, this show, I thought it was cool. I was like, you
Said
know,
initial
there's
thoughts, you fool.
not enough shows
Yep.
in American 1920s, or, you know, anime shows specifically. And so
We already have a perfect one. Why do we?
that
need
is
more?
true. We already have one that kind of,
Well, because we have to have more.
yeah, it's an interesting setting to use, but
Yeah, not many shows really go in between. They either go way back or they use things from like ancient times, like not really a good comparison, but Fates uses like historical figures from all over and they kind of tie them into like quote unquote our time or like other shows take place in like Vinland, where you have like the which is something new that they they didn't do either. Like they all have like these different time frames that they do it, but not many I guess Japanese-esque take a look at their counterparts to the Yakuza, the Mafia on this side of the
because
hemisphere.
it's easier just to do Yakuza because they're more familiar.
They're more familiar, but they're like peas in a pod, but this pea is a little is a little red, while this pea is a little green.
And I like that they went a little out of their comfort zone, you know. And
I like to see like the interpretations of how others would view kind of doing this kind of story, or I guess setting, which is nice.
Yeah, we need like go even further back.
I'd like to go further back,
guys.
Yeah,
when are
like,
we gonna
do, like,
get? When are we
Hamilton
gonna
anime.
get? Yeah, when are we gonna get anime George Washington? Fucking ride it over the Delaware River.
I'm pretty sure there was like a show that had a bit with that, but I could be mistaken.
You
You're
get to watch
bit.
anime Benjamin Franklin just like being a
Isn't that just Liberty
piece of
Kids?
Girls.
yeah.
Liberty Kids from PBS? Chuck, you don't. Is this the one thing you don't share with me? Oh no, Chuck, this is the one childhood thing you don't have.
No, I got it. I was like, why the fuck are you talking about Liberty Kids?
Because they looked like anime.
We're not talking about Liberty Kids anymore. Fuck
Yeah,
this.
we are.
I know
Garb,
the
you
show.
brought it up.
I know about this show because I talked to Pino, and Pino was like, 91 Days. It's the OP sung by the same guy who did the Tokyo Ghoul one. That's like that.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's for another fucking segment of this podcast.
Jeez,
I'm not even.
Chuck is just already swinging. I just asked for the explanation.
I told
Jesus.
you, and that was the explanation.
I don't know, man. You started singing, and I don't even know what you were singing at that point.
I didn't either. It's because it was in Japanese.
I can't believe you.
Get
How
these
dare you
Japanese
appropriate
words
their
out of my
culture.
mouth.
But yeah, so I guess none of you have ever heard of it before, is what I'm
No siree.
Absolutely
Gotcha.
not.
Well, let's get into some of the intro stuff here for you. So this was an anime that aired in 2016. I believe it was the summer season, and it was about 12 episodes with like a recap episode in between. It's set during the Prohibition era, which we kind of talked about a little bit before, and it has to do with like the Italian mafia in this scenario. It was directed.
This is original. Like this.
Yeah, it's original.
Source manga.
There's no source. I feel like they were trying to emulate some of the movies that I guess exist like in this kind of same scenario, like to the same vein as like The Godfather and I don't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but I do have a list here that they mention on the wiki. So let's pull that up here. Let's see. American crime movies, Miller's Crossing, Lawless, Godfather, Reservoir Dogs, Goodfellas. So they try to emulate that, and which was something that when I initially wanted to watch, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm a big guy on the I'm not a mafia. I'm a big guy of mafia themed things, so I was like, you might as well take a look. But yeah, there's not really much background about this. It was animated by the folks called Shuka, which they also animated things that we're a little familiar with. They animated some of the Durarara season 2 stuff, as well as some of those OVAs that they had with that show as well. So that's why there was like a bit of similarity between them, which also kind of
the styles relatively close, which is why I think is the reason why I'm such like, oh, it looks like Bacchanal.
Which is weird because they don't have Bacchanal under their belt. This one doesn't have Bacchanal under their belt. It's just specifically Durarara, which I believe then Durarara also has Bacchanal, because like that, it's a weird kind of combination. Of
because Durarara is made by the same anime, or not same anime, the same writer and like artist. So it's the same style between the two. So you know, Bacchanal good. That's all I have to. That's all I have to say.
Amen.
It's true. Let's see here. So let's before we actually get started, let's thank our listeners real quick. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I'd like to. Who are we thanking this week?
I guess I'm gonna thank them all again. I would like to thank Sid.
didn't
I
thank
want to
him
thank
this
Cream
episode.
Puff. I want to thank Cosmos, Jasmine, and Linseed, technically, for being big money people. Thanks,
Thank y'all. We
thank
love
you for supporting, and everyone else on the Patreon. We do a lot of fun things. Join us.
We had an Among Us play night, which was real fun. I
Yeah,
think.
I won.
Yeah, and I was not the imposter, and you all didn't believe me.
Yeah, because you said you were voting for yourself, and I
Yeah.
said, well, that's all I needed.
Well, that's called 5D chess, my friend.
Yeah, as in throwing yourself out of fucking space.
I mean, you should have trusted me. You should have trusted me. Anyways, we start streaming a lot more often on the exclusive Patreon, and if you want to hear us yell at each other, or if you want to gush about your favorite shows, come on, join in.
Yeah, or see us talking about anime that we're currently watching, because
Yeah.
we have dedicated chats for each episode.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Or-
see our thoughts and anger.
Or whenever we just watch other series outside of the show, like in
Like
our
whenever-
side and seasonals. Whenever I start like a new episode every week.
Yeah, like whenever Chuck fucking starts reading a manga and then reads all 300 chapters in 2 days. It's fine. You'll get
fine.
the whole gist of the story.
It's okay. Chuck doesn't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I
no,
think Garb has
I
the
think
problem.
Garb
He doesn't start
has the
anything.
problem.
He doesn't do anything. No, he likes Dark Souls, so he's the Dark Souls sensei here.
What?
Indeed.
Because me and Garb, we do the Dark Souls stream.
I know.
Oh yes, we need to do. Well, we may have to do that tonight or tomorrow.
Oh,
I digress.
But yeah, let's jump back into the thing. So I don't remember what segment it is, just like every other episode.
The
So we're
intro.
jumping straight into the intro to the synopsis, right?
What you sure?
Yeah.
We already talked about who animated it, so it's fine.
We got to talk about the animation itself, though,
Okay, sure. Let's go there.
because sometimes it's good, and then sometimes you have the guy singing the opera that's just like 2 frames,
And actually,
he's
with
just
with that
flapping his
one,
lips.
which I actually did research, which I was reading. It sounds like around episode 10, 11, and 12, and even a little bit on 9, they were having some delays during the season, so they had to I think it was something that had to do with the animation studio and like some of the I guess internal kind of things going on, but they had to delay some of the episodes from airing. So
That explains episode
Yeah.
7.5 as
yeah.
well.
exactly, because they needed I guess they needed some time to finish, which I don't really understand why, since it's not this show it's not in your face. Like, we're gonna be honest here. It's very much more geared towards, I guess, the realistic side of
Yeah, it's a real
shows.
fucking slow burn of a show.
But it's when it tries, I think it does pretty okay. I don't think
Yeah.
it does amazing. But then again, it's such a 180 from a lot of the shows we watched.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of shows like especially all of our shonen shows, a lot of detailed fight scenes, a lot of actions, and even compared to shows in the similar vein like Bacchanal and Durarara, they even have much more crisper kind of like interactions with like regular like fight scenes or regular interactions, as opposed to this one. It's very much, I guess, more focused, I guess, quote unquote, more focused on the story rather than the actions around it, which is
Yeah.
interesting that they kind of went that way.
Like,
which I don't really mind, but it is kind of a put off a little bit.
Yeah, I can respect, like, we want to focus more on the story, but when there's nothing interesting to look at, why didn't you make this an audiobook? It's like, if you're so engrossed in the story without doing enough visually, like, there are some, like, subtle looks and interactions between characters that you can only get through a visual medium, like them acknowledging each other with the eyes and things of that sort. So I'm not saying that this should have been an audiobook or whatever. I'm just making jokes. But there's nothing that stood out to me animation wise.
Yeah. And if something did stand out, I think it, and not in the good way either, or in the bad
3D
way, really.
cars, that's what stands out for me.
You know what? I actually found those kind of charming, which is
Yeah,
very
they weren't
weird
they
to
weren't
say.
bad. They weren't bad. That was just when I think animation from this show, I think of the 3D cars.
I was actually thinking of more of the weird way they kind of did their backgrounds, which kind of looked like watercolor paintings in a way, which kind of like was off-putting at first, but when I thought about it, I'm like, well, I mean, like it's I guess I understand they were trying to go for like an oldie kind of feel,
Yeah.
which kind of, I think it, strangely enough, I think it worked better when the car was driving on the roads in those scenarios, because I was just like, oh yeah, I can totally see this as like something around that time, but a lot of the stills were a little bit too, I don't know, boring for me.
Yeah, I never really thought about the backgrounds, which I think is a bad thing. But also
Man,
the
if
setting.
Chuck didn't even see the backgrounds, then you know you fucked
Well,
up.
I saw it. My brain didn't register them as backgrounds.
Well,
but
damn.
like,
I think this suffers from the fact also, as opposed to last week's episode where it took place in a kind of like
the
a big city
location.
in New York.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows at least something about New York. This location, they took place in, what was it? Not Lawless, Illinois. It was, or was it Lawless?
yeah, it was Lawless,
Yeah.
Illinois.
It took place in Lawless, Illinois. And there's not really, I guess like none of us, at least personally, have been there. And it's such a weird kind of location.
I don't think Lawless exists.
Yeah, but no one's ever been like, I mean, unless Chuck, have you like traveled to Illinois before?
Yeah, I've been in Illinois before. But the thing is, like the way that they made this town, it is your 1920s, 1930s
Like standard town.
standard town. It's all grimy. There's no like really bright colors, I think, which is the thing that always stands out to me. You know, the only bright colors that they ever use is if it's daytime, so the
Grass.
sky is a certain color, or they're in grass or foliage where it's green. Most of the other times, it's fucking brown.
It's gray,
poopy.
like all dye, like very dull colors.
Which I get it. It's to fit the theme, but every once in a while, when you just because it fits thematically doesn't mean that it works as a good show.
and I
good
can agree
choice.
at least with the animation side of this, because when you think about a lot of these mafia type shows and whatnot, you kind of expect the world to be a little fuller than that, because like these families are huge, and I think that this show doesn't really do a good job in like filling up that world. Like it gives us locations, it gives us some characters, but it doesn't give you enough.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame, because I personally I enjoyed what I saw, but it really it's not as I know it's not like
Fleshed
it's not a big spectacle. It's more it's very 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 minimal, which
There
is
were-
a bit of a shame.
There were a lot of kind of baffling choices on the way that they made this show, just like based through a smaller town, a smaller family, like two small families fighting each other. There were very few aspects of reaching the community outside of the family, which I think is a huge part of like mafia, just like storytelling, to have the public perception of these like mafia gangster types, because they have the influence, but we don't see that influence besides bootlegging. That's literally all we see. And I don't like it. I want to be engrossed into this world, engrossed into the story, and like really feel about like how the public feels about that, but how they work internally. And I just don't think that this show dedicated enough time to doing that. And I think that's maybe my biggest gripe of this whole show, is because the setup that they made for it and to show how all these characters interact, I don't think they do it well enough to try and hit some of the emotional beats and like larger moves that they're trying to do in this show.
Right. Sometimes less is more, but if you go a little too less,
Then
you can
it's
start
less.
losing. Yeah, I mean, then you don't really have much to go on, and
there's
you
nothing.
really have to. Yeah, you really have to rely on your other things to try
Yeah.
and carry it, which is a shame.
And I think that's just one quick thing.
Yeah.
One thing that a lot of original anime struggle with is getting that kind of scope down, because one of the really good things about manga is that you got to write in chapters, usually a 20 or 40 page chapter, and that formats a solid like beginning, like to start off from that chapter as like an explanation from the last chapter, the middle part, like the meat of it that really develops everything, and then an ending that is satisfying to someone who might be reading it weekly. And I don't think that there was insight in like in this, like a lot of original anime have issues with that. Like, for example, Darling with the Franxx, that was an original. I think the exception for that for me is Space Dandy, because they structured that show so much more episodically than an overarching story. So
I would actually compare this one kind of to what Michiko and Hachin was doing. I don't remember if that was
Yeah.
also an original work, but
Yeah,
like
that was original.
I think they did slightly better because despite the fact that again they only had a limited characters and that they focused on, their world was actually like their
Super
backgrounds, like
fleshed out,
everything
yeah.
was still like much more like it fit thematically, but it was much more like you actually got the sense that like, hey, this could be a real place.
Yeah.
There's actually people living around it, and it's not just centralized on these guys. There's like other
Yeah.
groups involved, which
I've
is a shame.
And I think Michiko Hachin also focused on the one thing it wanted to do. Because another thing, we'll talk about this in the section where we talk about the story. They stretched themselves too thin with trying to do a lot of different angles of the story through different perspectives, trying to get you to like the revenge story, but also be interested in what's happening within the mobs, fighting between each of the families, and what each of the families is trying to do to the other ones. What are the chess pieces being moved around? But they don't give you enough time in this anime to really see all those chess pieces fully move and like give the proper amount of time, because I said this, and I'm going to refer to it a lot. But in the Patreon, I said, like, when you're dealing with like two mafia families going against each other, it's a game of chess. Like, you got to know what to sacrifice. You got to know when to move, when to stay.
You can even know the stakes.
Yeah, make no mistakes. And I feel like if you want to make a good mafia movie, you have to focus on that. But this, or like mafia show, movie, whatever, mafia piece of media. But when you have this show, it also ties in the revenge side, which I think that was what they were trying to focus on more. But they still don't give me, they just stretch it too thin. And that's what really irks me, because I can see, some inklings of potential. But when you don't give enough focus on the show, or like on your characters that you want the people to care about, like I won't remember or care about them in the future.
Well, hopefully the studio that worked on this, maybe they realized this too after they finished everything out. Maybe they took a look over and are like, here's what we can do better in the future. And as long as they took that away from this, then I guess it wasn't a waste of time.
Yeah, they haven't really made a lot of different things. They've done they've done 2 full series after this one. And so, well, actually 3, but it's still, I don't know. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's the animation, because I did do Durara X2, all of that. And I really love the second half of Durara, but I think it's more the issues on the story. I don't think the animation studio is really to blame on this.
Well, I
like
think it's
the
more
focus,
like the general direction they want to take.
It's definitely
on a show.
direction.
So,
which is a shame. Mafia cool, dude. I love.
Do you know what else
I love the
mafia shows or mafia media should have? It should have good music.
That's true.
Which this had its moments, but I don't think anything really kind of stuck. I did like the motifs that they would have towards a certain ending that we'll talk about later, sprinkled throughout the show, where they'd have that jingled in. But other than that, it's mostly kind of like a silent kind of anime. There's not a lot of background music.
Maybe that's why we got so bored with it.
Well, the only time that I remember actually hearing music beyond the OPs and EDs are the diegetic music within the show, where like they're playing a record machine or they're playing off of a radio. Like, for the life of me, I don't remember any other music.
Right.
And
there was a moment, I think, when they fought that bounty hunter in between, and that was a
Big
pretty
Mexico?
nice piece. But that I think they only used it once. Yeah, Big Mexico.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
There's not much there, which is a shame too.
Yeah, like you gotta.
I see what they were going for, but it didn't really.
I feel they were trying to do The Godfather, and it's really hard to beat out The Godfather. And, like I respect the hustle. I respect them trying to do their best, but it comes to a point where you need to have some of your own identity in it. And I don't think this show really made a name for itself beyond it being a mafia focus. That's literally it for me. There's not a defining feature, I feel like, in this show.
If anything, I'd say this is like anti-mafia, because this is about someone infiltrating and then
destroying a mafia.
Yeah.
Which is interesting enough, but again, they just needed more. They needed something to actually hold it kind of together in that.
You needed like some sort of big push, or
there was, well, because that's also another like thing that you really gotta focus on with mafia films, is that they're slow burns. Like, it's a very calculated piece of media that you need to do, and you still need to have something pushing behind it. And if you don't have that, which I think in the show they were trying to make the revenge story that push, I don't think it gave enough to make me really want to care or continue watching the show for that aspect. It was, I don't know. There's just a lot of stinkers, I'd say.
Yeah, I like the way it ended, but it didn't really provide much of a payoff.
Yeah, I did really like the somberness of the end, like the last episode specifically.
We'll get to that. Hold up, we're still on audio.
No, I know. I'm just saying. But also let's talk about voice actors real quick.
So I watched a little bit of the sub, but mostly dub. What'd you guys do?
Same.
Yeah, I watched first couple episodes subbed, and then watched the rest dubbed, except the special episode at the end, which is only subbed.
What did you think about the sub?
Oh, man, I don't. It's weird, you know, because I listen to nearly all of this dubbed, and hearing like in this setting in Japanese really seems off to me.
Yeah, it's a little funny, like, even.
Well, it's like if you were playing the Yakuza series in English. Like, that's just not right. You can't.
It's not dubbed.
That.
Wait, you're telling me the Yakuza series isn't dubbed?
I think it is dubbed, but I like the Yakuza series. It doesn't sound right. Like, you have to have it in Japanese because you're in a Japanese setting with Japanese mobsters, and I feel like that same aspect like works with works the same way, because I feel like it works better in English in this aspect, even with the shitty fucking funny accents that they tried.
They weren't shitty.
They were very shitty.
So when I saw the sub portions from what I did see, I actually kind of enjoyed it myself. It was like weird hearing it like as its original in its original language, and I don't know, like I feel like all the voices fit in my opinion, at least for this. And like I feel like if I watched it in Japanese the first time, I think I would have still enjoyed it as much as I did the first time, because I did also watch it dubbed. It is a little off-putting, but I think I would have enjoyed it either way.
One aspect of the Japanese voice acting that I do really like is that the mafia bosses in particular, they have that low gravelly voice.
Yeah, they got a lot of those,
and it works. It works a lot for them. But when I hear like just your pretty typical Japanese voice coming out of some of these characters, I'm like, sorry, homie. I know you tried your best, but that's not.
Sorry, homie. That ain't lasagna, there, my friend.
It ain't lasanga, baby.
Dude, not my lasagna. But you know what? As much as I always like poking fun at the Funimation dub, I love those accents no matter what.
No, it's really, I don't know, man. It sets the mood better. It's
charming.
It's very charming.
And and especially kind of like in the same vein as like the Japanese, like the gruff like mafia bosses. The mafia bosses in this one, I think they did pretty great too.
Oh, they casted them great.
Yeah, Nero's pops. I was just like, now this man.
Yeah,
this man dying. I can work for. He's coughing, but I'd work for him.
So I saw on like the Crunchyroll comments, which I don't read very often, but I happened to mosey on down there for this show, and all the people were complaining about the dub voices.
Really?
They all thought they were bad, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong? Wow. You guys are just, I don't know if that group of people were just particularly like sub only or what, but y'all gotta cool it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Good dub.
we've watched
like the
several.
dub.
We've watched several shows with like this type of
I
accent.
love the silly dubs though. The
It's
silly
great.
dubs
Yeah.
are so good. Like fucking JoJo Part 1 and 2.
That's exactly what I was going to talk
That's
about.
like fucking we always talk about JoJo, but like it fits that mood so well.
And
just
even Caesar
I don't know
Zeppeli's
about that
Italian
one.
voice, I like that one. That one was good too.
It's so silly. That's
Exactly.
like JoJo's wacky. Like JoJo's dumb. When you think
I'm
about
a
it,
fan.
JoJo's dumb as hell.
Yeah. I don't
And
I,
it fits. It makes me giggle. Even
And
though,
yeah.
I wouldn't give the sub voices away for the world, but the dub as an option, phenomenal.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But
Phenomenal.
I like it.
like
it just
it.
has a sort of charm. It just feels right to me sometimes.
Yeah. I liked it.
I mean, it is a bizarre adventure. I mean, about JoJo,
Guess we did it.
part 1 and 2 and 3 and no, I'll stop. But yeah, no, like solid voice acting all around. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess to each their own. But I like if you're bad mouthing them, like no.
No, it's good.
And this
but
is
yeah.
one of the few with a dub that is on Crunchyroll.
Shout out.
Except on Crunchyroll, you can't watch with an English dub and still have captions, which is the dumbest shit on the
Yeah, I know.
planet.
Well,
I
to
was-
be fair though, usually with it, the dub and the subs are not 1-to-1 translations.
I don't even care. You can
I
just
mean, that's how it is.
give me
That's how
the
it works with
wrong
Netflix
one.
too.
Well,
yeah.
because if you're like on Netflix has the CC option and then just the
the
translation.
regular.
Yeah, so I always do CC if I'm listening to a dub.
Yeah.
But it's stinky. It's stinky regardless.
Yeah, I need to have the option for closed caption just in general.
It's true.
Sometimes words just come in one ear and like
Oh, I get
there's
it.
a
I
bug
need
in the processing, and I'm just like,
watching anime without any fucking subtitles, even if it is in English, feels a little weird, champ. But let's talk about the OPs and EDs, right?
All right, let's go ahead. The first opening, which was heard throughout the entire series, and I'm stalling because I had to click off a character page and go back to the other page, is called, oops, I scrolled down, it's called Signal by TK from Ling Tosite Shigure. Mm-hmm. And this one...
It's TK.
TK.
Just call him TK.
TK. No, I read the entire thing on Mal. Don't judge me. But yeah, I like it. I think it kind of expresses the show as it's kind of meant to be. Like it's kind of just like the entire process of what happens throughout the show, as most openings do. It's like this is him being sad when his family died. This is him at the wedding ceremony. This is him doing all the explosion stuff. Pretty standard. But it shows you what you're gonna expect. So I'm like, if you expected something bigger than what they showed you here, sorry, my friend, you're out of luck.
like if you were some crazy lad that was expecting something supernatural.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Well,
who would have
second
thought?
now. Wait a second now. I'm just saying, through Pino's track record, I should expect some sort of that.
No,
correct?
no,
Fool.
no. Had
But regardless.
I written this, we would have vampires.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Pino, like, based on what you usually recommend, I'm like, there's got to be something. But regardless,
I
Prohibition
consider this.
vampires were behind Prohibition.
It's
You
true.
heard it here first, folks.
guys, we did it. We
I
ended
consider this
Prohibition.
as the. I wouldn't say a Pino show. I'd say this as I'd call this a preferred Pino genre.
Yeah, this is well, Mafia is a Pino genre. That's flat out just a yes. But like, this OP is just not my favorite.
It's good, but not
good.
great.
Good's a strong word for me. It's
I like it
fine.
a lot.
It's
I like it.
passable. I don't think that it like if here's another one fits the theme, doesn't make it a good one. A lot of reused animation. No,
A lot of stills.
a lot of stills. There's not a lot. The only inventive part of this whole opening is the people going by Angelo, right? Is that his name?
In the sidewalk.
Yeah, in the street,
Angelo,
and
if you
seeing
will.
his family walk by him, and then he turns and like they're not there, and then there's the train. It's just, I'm just really not a huge fan of this because the artist sung the Tokyo Ghoul opening, the one that we all know, But I think with that opening, because I have an issue with the song as well, because there's no real push towards the chorus. There's no climax to the song. It's all pretty close. Like, I know that there's a slight increase in whispering singing, but like it doesn't hit you. This isn't a song that I will remember after ending this episode. I will not think of this opening for the rest of my life. Because
I think about this almost every month.
You're a fucking psychopath.
I like it. I think it's quaint, it's simple. I think it does the show what it needs to do for the show. It just lets you know, like, it's more of a serious, more kind of grounded, more kind of just, you know, a more dramatical kind of show to watch rather than like your over the top openings.
I know, like, I'm not asking for an over the top. I'm not being like, I want to hear. I'm not saying that I want to hear electric guitars shred and people fly through the air. Like, I just want a little bit more of a story being told that isn't the story that we're already getting in the anime.
But isn't that what a large majority, not a lot, but a large majority of the things are? I mean, like, a lot of openings literally just tell the same thing, just stylized.
Not really.
JoJo Part 2's opening is literally like the story of them meeting Lisa, them awakening the master, and then Caesar's quote unquote death.
But like
it's
thing,
stylized.
But yeah, but that's not really the point I'm looking here, because.
But you said you wanted a story.
No, shut up. Let me fucking talk.
I just want to understand is all.
No, I want, because for this, well, like, also stylization is always welcomed, because this opening is literally, oh man, look at this man go see all these people and take some funny screenshots, and then let's see trauma, and that's basically it. Like, it's nothing great. It's not. I don't mean crazy, but it's nothing that stands out to me. Yeah. It is a very average opening. There's nothing of note to it.
And like I'm saying, it's visually, it's just letting you know what's going on in the show. Like, again, it's not going to be like over the top. It's going to show you a lot of angry teenager. It's going to show you a lot of like mafia-esque scenes, but it's like, I mean, what are you gonna like literally, what are you gonna expect? Just
something, I don't know.
What would you add?
Have some more like cool visual transitions. Like, the only like cool transition was literally the tap on the shoulder, turns around, and they're at the party. That's the only. Maybe
they could have used that one scene later in the show, or I think it was Corteo who was dumping bottles out in the river. They could have used something with that and moved along, but they probably didn't think of that until they got to that point.
Until they started writing that episode. But, like, man, I don't know.
We're both in agreement it's average, but I still enjoy it. Is what I'm saying.
Don't enjoy it.
I like the song. It's not. It's not like amazing though. It's a good song.
It's average. Not going to be thinking about it after I close this tab. Okay, goodbye. Close the tab.
It was deleted from his memory bank.
That's true.
Until 3 months later, when he's like, "Man, 91 Days was bad. Let me listen to the opening."
I will not. Pino.
Chuck, you do this every 3 months.
No, that's not true. Because even with something,
6 months.
No, even with
remember
something
when you hated on Bakutu Test?
Dude, Bakutu Test I did not hate on.
Yeah, you did. You initially didn't like it too much. You're like, man, Bakutu Test was good.
No, that's not true. That's
Garb,
not true.
Am I crazy?
Well, I mean, I certainly did that.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about
trashed it at first, but then it grew on me later.
It happens.
It's a good show.
Anyways, let's move on to the ending then.
I don't know, man. The ending is all shitty. Fuck.
No, so I thought the ending was great.
So the ending is called Rain or Shine by Elisa, and it's pretty basic. It is somebody, I'm assuming Avilo, shooting a pistol, a 3D pistol, and then it's just a lot of images of characters on broken, shattered glass on the floor. It doesn't really have lyrics. It's just her kind of humming throughout the whole thing, which I actually thought was great. Like, with the biggest thing with me, and I think it's always the biggest area of contention, is I think it fit perfectly for this show.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was great.
Fits thematically, not interesting at all.
Yeah, but again, what do you? I know, Chuck, you expect endings to be Dragon Maid 1 or even Kekai Sensen 2
literally
and 1.
What I want is something like visually interesting.
What would you add?
No, first off, I'm not an animator. I'm not a anime director. I'm a jackass on the internet who made a podcast. I don't have all the answers.
What you want.
For example,
you keep telling me I want more, but you don't give me an answer.
Please let me talk.
Damn.
Because with this, they show a bunch of different characters in the glass. They should maybe, as the characters are introduced throughout the show, maybe add them to the glass pane. Maybe do some symbolism with like characters on a certain glass pane. They like add a crack to it, symbolizing that they're dead. I want some.
That is a good idea.
I want some like added visuals to my endings because it's just a fancy way of making a sliding PNG.
Now, was that so hard to say?
You just need to let me think.
I don't know. I mean, I asked you for the OP, but you still didn't give me too much either.
Well, the OP is a whole nother bag of worms because I just know that I didn't vibe with it. That's my whole thing. We're in agreement on a lot of it, and I'm just saying that I don't vibe with it. It's not my vibe.
I got you.
And this ending is not my vibe. It doesn't like make a good proper closure to an episode, I feel.
I would disagree.
It just puts me to fucking sleep. I say good night.
I also agree.
And then I say good night, and then I forget that I need to watch this anime. So it's nothing that will make me remember. I will not remember this ending after I close this tab because it is so standard. And I hate standard. Because even if a show's shitty and bad, but they try something, I respect them for that. This show, in general, takes no chances. It takes no risks. This is a pretty bog standard anime. The only difference is that it is a mafia style anime. It has some unique ideas. I love them just like through the genre of mafia. Shush. With the genre of mafia, there's a lot of really interesting things. And that's all it has going for it. Is that it's a mafia film, like mafia anime. Because the animation's not crazy, music's not crazy, OPED's not crazy. Like, nothing stands out to me about this show. And that's what frustrates me the most. Because with this genre, you can do a lot, but you need to know how to do it. You can't, it's maybe one of the hardest genres to write for because it is such a deeply rooted style, and you need to like know how to do it. And I don't think they knew how to do it. Then that's my tea. That's it.
So thanks for telling me about the ending.
I am just so tired. It's one of those episodes where I know that you're pushing me to make me upset.
Nonsense. I just asked you for the ending and you gave me a whole paragraph. That's for the end, buddy. Come on.
Pino, I could just feel it. I could feel it. I've recorded with you guys enough times to know exactly what you're feeling and what you're trying to do to me. And you're getting it because you've egged me on enough.
Oh, nonsense. I didn't say anything during the chats like in Patreon this time. I kept mostly quiet.
Yeah, because so you could egg me on during the episode.
No. Now that we've got the emotion and, you know, in part some truths to the ending out of the way, I will say again, yeah, they could have put a lot more effort into this ending. It's true. I still very much enjoy it because with a large majority of the episodes, despite maybe the beginning and endings having kind of weakish kind of starting points or not as intense kind of things, I think once the ending happens and this song plays, I think that's where the reason why I remember it. Even as early as episode, I think it's 2 or 3, where Avilo kills Vano, one of the guys who originally killed his family. That was a little bit like when I watched it initially and when I watched it this time, I was like, wow, that's a little intense. And when the ending plays, I'm just like, well, this is a nice little thing. Like a nice little cool down. So I very much appreciate the fact that they're not really trying to push as hard or quote unquote try as hard. But it's, again, to each their own. I just don't see too much issue with this one. Again, because I see things more thematically when maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should be seeing it more of an animation kind of way.
We're different people.
True.
That's fucking the glory of this not being a one-person podcast.
Exactly.
Because we all got our own insights in what we look for in anime, and obviously, literally based on these last 3 years, everyone should fucking know what our vibes are.
I still don't know who Garb is, though.
Garb's a fool.
I don't know who I am.
Who is he? He just got here.
He's gonna murder us at the end of the season.
God, I hope so.
It's the twist.
But yeah, not again. I think for the most part, I enjoyed it, but they're all pretty average. It's pretty average to maybe meh endings and openings. Like, can I get an amen? Maybe.
Amen. And there was another ending that I don't think we can find anywhere unless you go.
Was that like
onto the
episode 11, where it was like the same version but piano?
I think it was the last episode.
No, well then
the last episode
it's
was
probably
the same.
then just the end credit scene, just because it was a different visual. Because it was like the sea washing over the footprints on the ocean or on the sand at the beach. So.
I like that. They were just mimicking like
I did like that though. That was a really nice. We'll talk about this more when we get to the story. But the last episode, I actually really did enjoy thematically and how it turned out. So
yeah. But
see, I can say good things about this show.
I know you can say good things. I just like hearing the bad things and then feeling bad about it.
God, this fucking podcast is pain. Why did I ever ask you two to do this?
It's because we're friends.
It's true.
Oh, man. And friends make each other watch bad things they like.
It's true. It's fucking true.
That's the definition of friendship.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to pick like a really trash show.
Don't pick a trash show. That's
Beat you
my
to it,
job.
honey.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I haven't
job.
picked an unabashedly trash show yet.
Well, I mean,
No, unabashedly.
Oh, unabashed. Like all of us agree?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us all have agreed except for
Come on, a friend, season 2,
Friends.
homie.
That one.
Also, fucking Dimension W, fucking just snooze.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
See?
You're supposed to forget about it.
You're supposed to
Guys.
forget about the loser.
I bet if we took off the Dimension W episode, no one would say anything. I don't think anyone would notice.
Well, except for suddenly we'd have to renumber.
There's that one
every
Dimension
episode.
W guy.
No, it would just be blank spot. Nothing existed during that week.
It's the Void podcast.
It's the Void podcast. You're right.
Hey, welcome to the. Thank you for joining. Goodbye. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
That's it. You did it, Pino.
It's easier. It's catchier. Everyone knows opening ones are the most memorable.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Specifically.
Just look at
Shala,
One Piece.
Dragon Ball. Not
No.
Naruto.
Fucking Dragon Ball. Everyone remembers the second opening of Dragon Ball.
Don't stop. Oh wait, no, that's like the remade first
Don't
one.
stop, dude.
And no, Chala Head Chala is the one everybody knows.
Well,
but
Chala Head Chala is
it's
the first
Mukafushi
one of.
Gigi
No,
Adventure.
because that's for Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z is a different entity, and I'll still stand on that hill that Dragon Ball is better than Dragon Ball Z.
I will say I don't remember. This is such a sidetrack, but My Hero.
Dude, My Hero opening
number
3,
one,
baby.
I don't know. I like I
Banger.
like the one where they're fighting at the not the tournament, but I guess it is a tournament with. I don't remember. I was listening to it the other day. Season 3, opening 2.
So that's opening 5, I think.
Yeah,
Technically.
not Odd Future, the one after it.
Well, your future.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say it now. Garbage.
It's okay. It's not my favorite.
We gotta watch that. Actually, now that I think about it,
I'm up to date on the manga. I have no need to watch the anime.
we need to. Hey, viewers, make us watch it
Guys,
eventually.
please, guys, don't waste your fucking pick on My Hero.
Dude, do it.
You motherfuckers waste a vote on fucking
Hey, come on, what are you scared
My Hero
of? Come on.
Academia. I would be so upset.
Hey,
I'd be
come
like,
on. Anything
I'd
can
be
happen,
like,
my
you
friend.
could make us watch anything, and you pick My Hero Academia.
I mean, they could make us watch a Sword Art.
I'd be better with Sword Art than My Hero. Yeah.
I'm gonna add it to my list.
It would have to be your episode, Pino. If we did.
It would actually.
I don't-
I actually enjoy it.
I would also like that could be a joint episode because I have a lot to say on that. But I don't care.
Maybe when Progressive comes out, maybe I'll put it on the list because SAO Progressive anime is coming out, and apparently that's gonna be great.
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh no, I know because that's the retelling of Aincrad, but like actually taking the time to spend in Aincrad.
Please.
And on Asuna's perspective, which is gonna be fun.
Oh no, the rapey part of that. Are they gonna remove that part, please?
Who, Asuna? I mean, we're talking about. I guess that did happen. There.
That was the whole part that I absolutely hated in the
Wait,
first...
no, not the fairy one.
What?
She got the tentacles in the fairy part, but not not in the regular part. This is solely just regular part.
Guys, I don't know, man. I haven't watched fucking Sword Art Online since 2013. I don't know this shit.
I'm cursed with being able to remember things that I shouldn't really need to know for being a basic human.
I just know.
I struggle breathing, guys. I got asthma.
Guys, remember when this episode was supposed to be about 91 days?
Dude, we're just on the 5th day. Come on,
guys. This is the first like podcast type podcast we're doing. We got nothing to talk about, so we're just bullshitting for an hour.
Don't worry, I'm waiting. I'm ready for the next segment when you guys are.
Pino, you were talking the most.
Exactly, but it's just you guys continued and it was a fun natural conversation. Anyways, synopsis.
Anyways, time to suffer.
Anyways, time for story. Okay, so it's no secret. We already talked about the fact this is a revenge story, but we'll go through the story plot quickly because there's not really much to talk about, unfortunately.
The story plot.
This story takes place in again Lawless, Illinois, and it's about. Angelo Lagusa.
It's Illinois.
Illinois.
You're Illinoising.
Illinois. I'm gonna die. Anyways, it's about Angelo Lagusa, who was as a young kid was part of a happy family until one night his family was murdered by a group of thugs from the Vanetti family. He was the only survivor as a masked gentleman tried to shoot him but missed. And he vowed revenge several years later once he received a card or a letter in the mail saying these were the killers of your family that day. Listed, I believe, Vano. It listed Nero. It listed Nero's pops, and it listed somebody else. I think his John Hancock was down there. That made me laugh when they said that. So it is now Angelo's job to infiltrate the family in order to murder everybody who had anything to do with his family's assassination. Again, pretty simple kind of overall thread of a story. But it starts off with him trying to infiltrate the family, as I mentioned, through the use of alcohol, since this is prohibition.
Glug.
His buddy Corteo, a very good childhood friend who took him in after his family died and was murdered, he creates the best drink anybody's ever had called Lawless Heaven. And so they're trying to, push it on some of the barkeeps to, get some money, get some cred, and get some status in everything. They come across paths with Nero Vanetti, who is interested in kind of like funding this, kind of having the side thing in order to like climb the ranks in his family as well, because his small little Vanetti family is in a bit of a pickle, as they don't really like him too much, which is kind of weird because he's a likable guy. I mean, Nero was kind of fun. Am I right, boys?
Right?
I like
right?
Nero.
Nero, he can juggle. None of the family members could juggle.
It's true. Once he juggled, I was like, that's the first piece of characterization that I've even remotely cared about on any of these characters.
And then his pants fell down.
And then I went,
He was wearing long johns.
hey, dude, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean,
Sometimes
you gotta
feels
stay
better.
warm. Yeah.
I respect it.
I like that. I like that little segment there. But the story does that, just like that ass shot. No.
Dude, the booty was nice.
The first 4 episodes are kind of like a weird kind of... It's weirdly episodic, but also kind of pushes the story forward in the same kind of vein that... you might hate me for this, kind of like Keke Sensen did, like in his first episodes, where, again, it introduced you to everybody, but in this scenario, it just didn't introduce you to enough things in this point to make people truly invested into it. It had its moments near the end when he actually kills Vano in episode 2 after successfully trying to infiltrate the family, which I think was great. Like it creates that kind of shock factor, but I don't think it was enough to carry it over, because immediately after episode 2, episode 3 is like, okay, we got to leave and we got to go. We got to book it. And Big Mexico's there.
I don't know. That whole section of them running away was not needed. Mm-hmm. You could get that same type of characterization in like less than an episode.
Yeah. And I guess what they were trying to do is to push these two characters together, and I guess create that kind of quote unquote bond or trust or seeds of trust. But I don't think it did it. I don't think it did a good job at all.
Yeah, no.
Again, it was more. I think those episodes are just more of like, hey, let's take it easy. Let's just ease them into it. And I think they didn't really ease us into anything. They kind of just like
they just sat us there on the road and said, just wait here a couple episodes.
It's
it's more like instead of easing in, they just kind of meandered in, just like really slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was a little unfortunate, because like for folks who are just starting it, I feel like there's probably the only reason that you're still watching it is because you were just still off the fumes of Vano being killed like really quickly. And I think that's how when I originally watched it, that's one of the reasons I stayed. I'm like, okay, I like this. He's really getting his revenge on.
I was surprised. I was like, damn, they're really killing people off quick. I was like, cool.
Well, like that's what I do like that, just because it like that type of mafia movie, like you kill people quick.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get them.
You gotta do it.
Hey, it's for the family.
Mm-hmm. I do think though there's like one little joke in between that still sticks with me was it kind of leads into like how I guess a serious of a character Nero is. With the Big Mexico episode where he's like the Goliath. He's like the what? Yeah. And at the end of the episode, he's the Galuga or something like that. The what? Yeah. Ain't you go to Sunday school?
I do really like his characterization, because he was the only one that had even a fucking piece of humor in any part of his body, and so I was just like, ugh. He
was more of the carefree, but also,
which
he
I
just
respect.
knew what needed to be done.
I liked that about him.
He's the only one I think that was, I guess, multi-dimensional,
quote
unquote.
He wasn't just a gangster. He was someone outside of that relation, you know?
And like, it would have been nice to like have that. Actually, no, I was gonna say it would have been nice to have that from Avilo / Angelo, but I don't think it would have worked as well.
It wouldn't have worked for him, but I wish that like one or two more characters would have had that same vibe, because everyone else is so fucking serious.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. It's fucking mafia movie, but it's still like, I want to be entertained. And especially if, like, for example, The Godfather is a movie. This is a 12-episode series. You have to hold my attention for a lot longer.
And it will lose attention from many people who try to start this, and I'll admit that. The second viewing, I was just like, episode 1 kind of just happened. Episode 2 happened, but this was cool. It really doesn't pick up until we pick up. Yeah, maybe someday. Well, maybe one day.
Maybe someday there'll be like a fan edit that chops it down to like 6 episodes.
I swear they should really. They should have probably made this a movie, and just like re-altered. They should have re-altered like the first 4 episodes to make it fit better. in a sense.
I think we were talking about this before, and also on the Patreon. I think making it an OVA, like a 6-episode OVA, I think would work really well, because it would keep, like, you want a slightly more brisk pace, but still keeping that development in time so that you won't be losing all of your sanity when you have to watch this.
But back going into the plot of the story.
While
they're escaping, there's some background things going on that they don't really touch upon too much, but there is kind of like an anti. I guess he's a villain, but he's not really. He's just crazy. This guy named Fongo, who's just like messing around everywhere, and he's like. I like Fongo's character a lot. He was just like kind of that chaotic thing that we needed at this point or stage in the show. But he really doesn't come into play until like we start like episode 5 and 6, where they're trying to get some land, trying to win the family back over by interfering with Don Orco, who owns this fancy Italian lasagna restaurant. And that's where things get good, because Nero starts putting some chess pieces into play, which is the main complaint that I think maybe Chuck and a little bit to myself had with the first like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah. Once it got to like episode 6 and 7 was when it actually started. The wheels started finally turning.
So from at that point, the Venetti family wanted Nero out of there because they saw him as an eyesore. Like, he was just messing up things as he went along, did things he wasn't supposed to, and even had his brother like just didn't like him, and the family his sister married into didn't like him. And push comes to shove, Angelo suggests, hey, why don't we work with Fongo? The guy I was supposed to kill. He's like, Fongo? What do you mean work with Fongo?
More like Fongo, am I right?
We're gonna outplay him. So they join forces with Fongo to arrest old Mario, or not arrest, but to cheat out Don Orco into selling him the Lawless Heaven. But it's really just to gain some turf and some more notoriety, which I think they did that pretty well. Like they lured him out, and like that one really kind of like, that's when I started feeling like, okay, this is where we start having the mafia stuff going in, which is pretty nice. They successfully trick and kill Don Orco, but not before feeding Don Orco to the fishes, and by fishes I mean his cohorts in the restaurant. Yeah, that
I really liked.
If you didn't see that coming,
that was probably my favorite scene of the whole fucking show. Because as soon as he was like, "Oh, he can't have any," I'm like, "Oh no." Oh no!
There's plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, but I did really like that. It was really cool. I'm really glad that was because it showed how fucking crazy Fongo is.
It kind of reminded me of like the horse head in the bed, which is great because like you need some of that like wild like batshit crazy like mafia style things to happen in order to like keep you hooked. And I think that was, again, if you had more of this, or at least something similar to this vein early on in a more focused kind of way, then that would have been perfect. I thought it would have been like a good average show. But we got what we got. Anyways, they successfully overtake the restaurant and obtain turf. The Venettis are not happy about it. They're just like, we can't. How is he doing all this? We can't. Then we kind of get a little side story, not really side story, but like of the Venetti siblings. So you have Fio, you have Nero, and you have I forget his name, Frate. That's his name, right? Frate Venetti. Frate. And like they have this kind of like whole family situation where it's like they used to be real close, but like Frate thinks that Nero's just not like thinking of the family first. Fio just wants her family back, and Nero's just like, I gotta do what I gotta do. What do you mean? I gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
Which I thought led to some good drama. I just think that since we didn't get too much of either of the siblings early on, that it was kind of a lost cause. But I think it worked more towards Vilo's story, where he's like, I'm just trying to make sure that this guy suffers as much as I'm suffering. Yep. So viewing it at that perspective, I guess it worked. And I enjoyed how it all went down. Exterior family like messing with the Venetti family, drugging good old Frate, making Frate go crazy, and then ultimately the sabotage of not having the bullets in the gun and having Nero shoot his own brother. That was I think that worked pretty well.
Man, I don't know. It's like I said, they just don't focus on one aspect or the other fully enough for me to truly come to like grips with a certain, because with the like they continue to have like kind of like the focus shift, and I can't get my fingers wrapped around fully one of the concepts. So that's what's rough.
Yeah. Garb, anything?
No. It just for that point, it just kind of kept going. And
it did just keep doing. It's true.
Eventually, Nero does become the head of the family, which is, I guess, like as a result of basically killing off the other potential candidate and having the second potential candidate move to Chicago, which was interesting. I was kind of shocked that she shot her husband, but I guess, blood over family over blood, or blood over family.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah,
blood is thicker than water, baby.
You know what else is pretty thick?
Me, baby.
Oh, how did you know I was going to say that?
Because I got a thick ass.
See, I was going to say the same thing. Let me see here. After that, after the whole Don Orco and killing off Frate, you get a little bit of more of like, things do start getting a little worse. We start getting the Corteo kind of story where again, he was in through the most of the show, but he was still pretty much in the background until this next segment. The Corteo goes to Fongo because he just wants to pull his friend out of the mafia life. His friend being Angelo. And it ends up being the wrong choice because Fongo is literally just in it for the lawless heaven. And it leaves him as like in the eyes of a traitor for the Venetti family, which is unfortunate for the character. But I kind of like this whole entire segment because you actually do get to dig deeper into the past of Corteo and Angelo, which was nice because like they're friends, right? Like we should see how friendly or how like close of a friend and bond they had, which was nice. The thing that really blew my mind, which I completely forgot about until this watch through, was that once Corteo had nowhere to go, he just up and kills Fongo, and I was just like, well, you snapped. You did everything you didn't want to do, and I was just like, poetic. But it was out of the blue for me. I was just like, I was in shock.
Thoroughly shooketh.
Yeah, I liked that was like, oh, he going off.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, he just snapped, He's like, I want my friend back.
He do that.
He do. So after that, they have to get Corteo out of town. But before doing that, he gets kidnapped by one of the family members of the Venettis. Let's see, what was his name? Jesus. There's so many weird names that it's kind of hard to track sometimes. But once I open it up here, let's see here. What his name be? What his name be? Some old geezer. Let's see. I'll eventually get it, boys. Don't worry. I'm almost there. Eventually.
I'm waiting. Don't worry.
You can hear it. If you listen closely, you can hear his steam coming out.
Yeah, you can hear the cogs turning in his head.
I forgot there was a guy named Volpe. Gonzo. There we go. Gonzo,
Garbanzo. So
he was also kind of like a close ally to Vincent Vanetti, which is Nero's old man. But he kind of wanted everything for himself. As you do in mafia families, there's always a rat, or two, or three, or four, or five. But there's always a rat. So he's like, okay, I'm going to save your friend, but you need to kill the Venettis because a big family. Because I want to be the big family, and I'm working with the bigger family. Which again kind of came out of the blue again with the big family, but they were mentioned because there was Redhead McGee who was shot. I forgot I don't even care about Redhead McGee. Ronaldo, that's his name.
He got killed pretty quick, so I can forgive you. At least he had a memorable death.
Oh yeah, that was pretty. I didn't expect that either. A lot of the deaths kind of just jump at you, and you're just like, well,
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, they need it. That's what, if you're being a realistic, fucking just blot, they're dead because they got shot, you know?
Well, I gotta start blasting.
Blot, dead because you got shot.
It's true. Yeah. That's how life works.
It is. But yeah, so they come up with a scheme on how to get Corteo out of there. He spends a week with Corteo in his hometown, Angelo and him, reliving some things of the past. And I thought that little segment was
Angelo.
Nice. They made some food. They shared some coffee together. He slept on a table. They paid old ladies excessive amount of money for rent. Which was again, it was a nice little slowdown, but that's more of the slowdown I would have preferred as opposed to the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Like you can have it slow down later on, but when you start slow, it's hard to pick up that momentum. But whenever you're going fast and then slow down and then pick back up, it's totally different.
Yeah. I don't, because like we know the characters enough now that this returning and slow down makes sense. It works thematically with what was happening at that time, and it set the mood for like the one final deal that they have to do. But it was the calm before the storm is what I'm getting at.
Meanwhile, he's there. Nero and his right hand man, Barbaro, his cousin. Barbaro suspects that like there's a rat, and of course there is, because Angelo's just trying to kill everybody in the family. So they investigate. They find out that Angelo could be placed right in the scene where Corteo was left the city, and so just as they're about to like accuse him of being a traitor, Corteo comes back and he's just like, "Hey, no, he's not. It's me." So at that point, they tie him down. They're about to shoot up Corteo, but Nero, he kind of acts like the Don he became. He's just like, "I'm not going to shoot him. You're going to shoot him." And I think at that point I was like, okay, you've successfully did another mafia thing for me, where you gotta do what you gotta do, and you do the successful kind of revenge story thing. Like, you can't have it all. Like, you can't get your man and get out of there unscathed. You gotta lose somebody along the process. But Corteo was pretty set on sacrificing himself, which was nice, because he just wanted to help his friend.
That's what we all gotta do.
Yeah, we gotta sacrifice ourselves to summon.
Yeah, that was rough. I was like, oof, yikes. Yeah.
Corteo's a good boy.
Corteo, yeah. I mean, he make alcohol taste good, which means he's a good boy. But yeah, no, that was a little rough, especially even after that episode where you start seeing Angelo kind of descend into madness.
Yeah.
Starts like imagining
and
Corteo being
a lot,
there.
And
and like you get to really see his character kind of be broken up, which again worked, but it could have just worked a lot better. It really could have worked a lot better with the correct focus on it throughout the entire series. But this is where we get to the big old climax. The big family from Chicago has come in, and they're like, okay, we're going to go to the theater, we're going to have fun, but not really. We're just trying to smoke out all the Venettis so that we can take their turf.
Yeah.
And so they, along with Gonzo, the guy who basically blackmails Angelo, is having them work for them and the bigger family, the Galacias, so that they can kill Big Boss Venetti. Things obviously turn out for the worse, as once they do catch Angelo committing the act of trying to kill him, they bring him to a cellar in the basement. He kills like a guy to escape, but that's mostly because Gonzo shows up. And this whole scene, I feel like, would have worked better if the animation was better in every aspect here, because it had all the right marks, it had all the right thematical things in place. Like, oh, it's a theater. You have the theater music playing in the background. You have everybody rushing all over the place. But no. It was just not. It was just not. It was good, but it was not great. Did I still enjoy it? Yeah, hell yeah, I did. I'm a mafia nut. But it could have done a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really hit me as anything, because I just didn't care about the families enough to really be like I know it has repercussions in the world, but it's, for me, I'm like, Okay, cool. 2 more
Their
guys
world was
are
just
dead.
too small enough to work with.
Yeah, they don't. There's not. There was no. They didn't. Once again, they didn't show the mafia outside of the family. It didn't show like their control on how they like work with the people beyond bootlegging. So it doesn't. It doesn't fill me with anything like, oh no, this is a big thing.
And even when they tried to, I didn't even mention it before. Like when they had like to pay off like some of the feds to. Or even intimidate some of the feds from interfering in their business. That was something nice, but they just didn't do much with it after that. It was just like a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Which could have been something bigger, because like they had a corrupt FBI agent, and then they had like an upstanding one, and it was just like, well, I mean, thank you for showing me that you know what mafia is, but you could do it better.
You kind of fumbled it a little bit there, buddy.
Yeah, which is a shame, because this has a lot of like. It has a lot to work with, but it at the same time didn't have enough to do that with.
It just didn't take advantage.
It didn't allocate its time correctly.
Did not dedicate enough wham.
Yep.
You hate to see it. But I still enjoyed the overall kind of like process of that, because you get quote unquote some closure in a sense with Vincent Vanetti, where he's just like,
I regret killing my friend Lagusa.
and it's like,
Oh no, it's my friend Lagusa's son. I deserved it.
But I thought it was awesome that he didn't actually shoot Vincent like planned, because he was just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make him feel like I felt that night when my parents died. And I thought that was cool. I was just like, you are a brutal man.
Yeah. I was like, yikes, dude.
And that's when you get a lot more anger from Nero, which is great, because like for the most part, you just have him as a carefree kind of guy, like kind of put into these awkward situations.
Very level-headed.
Yeah, very level-headed. And then once his old man kind of just dies of a heart attack there, he kind of loses it. And I thought,
dude, in his old man's last words, he was like, "This is for nothing, man," and then he just dies.
We did this for nothing.
Well, because it was for nothing.
it's true.
It's just like, damn.
Yeah.
And so in one night, the entire Vanetti family was executed, minus Nero, which was a shame. I feel like we would have cared a lot more for anybody if they actually showed focus. I was pretty bummed when Tigre died, but it was just like, well, it's because it's Tigre. We just know Tigre.
It's Tigre. Yeah, that's like it's just because we've seen him.
Yeah.
Like if they gave anyone time, I'd feel bad. It's just like,
Strangely enough, I think I preferred Vano's character, who they killed off episode 2, a lot more than Tigre.
Oh yeah, well because
they gave Vano more development time within that episode, which was interesting.
Vano was a character. Like he was a hothead. He had like a little bit more motivations.
And he was one of the
presence.
guys. He was one of the guys who murdered his family. I just wish that they didn't kill him off so fast, but I get why they needed to. But they could have been somebody else. It could have been like a smaller name.
Yeah.
But anywho, everything dissipates. Nero is on the look for Angelo, obviously because he's angry. But Angelo gets stopped by one of the big family guys. He's like, "Hey," he says, "Hey," because I said Family Guy. I'm sorry.
I was waiting. I was like, "Is he just gonna go past that?" Oh, there it is.
And he's like, "Hey, I need a guy who's killed. I need you to kill a guy." And obviously, he wants Nero dead. So. I guess it kind of one thing led to another, and Nero and Angelo are kind of like on this car ride together, and they kind of like have like a moment there where it's like, you know, why'd you do it? Why all this time? Why didn't you just like kill me first? I thought their banter back and forth, I think that was the most emotion that I got
out of the whole fucking series,
out of the whole thing, which was great, because I was just like, these two, despite the fact that it's only 12 episodes, these two got the most quote-unquote focus and the most quote-unquote bonding time together, which for those who are still watching that weren't interested, finally get that sense of relief, but those who were into it probably got a whole lot more enjoyment from it, which I enjoyed too, because like you see how dead and beaten Angelo is, and how he was like, it really wasn't worth it either, and like Nero's just like, yeah, you bastard, like how could you? He's like, he was so close to killing him.
Yep.
Which then leads to kind of like an interesting kind of like I'd call it a montage, right? Of them like kind of driving across the country, reaching the ocean,
and then
in a sense,
Ocean,
yeah. You never see the ocean,
blah, blah.
which was nice because like you can see that they actually during the show they like actually did have like respect or care for one another, despite probably not either of them wanting to. At least Nero at this point not wanting to at all, but Angelo initially not wanting to, having those like feelings of like, hey, I kind of respect this guy despite the fact that I hate him. Mm-hmm. So they have all that. I thought that was pretty nice. They played the ending through it. Yeah, it was all right. And then they reach the beach area, and they're walking on the beach, and he asks him, he's like, I forget what exactly he asks, but it parallels the night in which his parents, Angelo's parents, die, and he's like, if like, would you have still shot me, or like next time would you miss? And he's like, you don't really get like a lot of talking there, but like it mimics it. And then you see Nero point his gun at a walking Angelo on the shoreline, and then you hear the gunshots, and then you see him leave by himself.
Yeah, which I like. It was very good.
Which is good. Like, a lot of people might consider that being like, oh no, it was a cop out. I can't believe you didn't actually give it an ending. Is he alive or is he dead? I think I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like to think he shot Angelo. Either way,
Angelo's fucking dead as hell.
Yeah,
no fucking way he's not.
But yeah, I kind of like I like ambiguity in a little bit like that,
Yeah.
And then they end that. Yeah,
makes you think.
Yeah, because it doesn't really, it doesn't really matter which one it is. It's more fun to think about, what it's like one way or another.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a good ending.
I mean, yeah, and then they then they do the whole like other end credits segment where it's like they focus on the beach and the waves.
Yeah, which
it washes away the footprints.
Good theming. That was great.
That was good. And they had that like Italian-ass kind of like music, or like the mafia-ass music.
I liked it. It was nice.
That was the charming part of it, which I enjoyed. The gist of it is the second half is the better portion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it could have been better.
All of it could have been better. That's just how it is. And it's a shame because interesting idea. It's obviously an interesting genre, but just doesn't hit the same highs that it definitely could have.
Where were we?
Oh yeah, we're going to characters. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we are talking about characters now.
All right. So let's go jump into some characters real quick. Not really much to talk about. We'll start with Angelo Lagusa, or AKA Avilo. I forget his last name.
Angel Lasagna.
Angel Leg.
He was fine. I don't care.
He was your standard I'm angry revenge main character. I enjoyed his brutality. I enjoyed his just the fact that I have a thing for angry characters. So having an angry boy like that, being the main protagonist in a way, was pretty nice. Like we've been watching a lot of shows with too many happy main characters. Like just give me a break. Let me enjoy this angry, bloodthirsty, whiny child. The little bit of feeling and development he did get was kind of nice, when he wanted to learn how to juggle himself, and like his whole childhood with Corteo and whatnot. That was great. But I don't see him as like the best main character. I think he just worked.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, he's the only anime-esque looking one. Which kind of bothered me. It bothered me forever. He
definitely looked the most Japanese out of everyone.
Yeah. I want if that's one thing I could change, I would like to change his design. Maybe slick back hair, maybe like a beard. I don't know. Just give him something different. A goatee, maybe.
Give him a scar on his eye.
If he got grazed by the bullet, yes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of like, again, if you look at him from like the outside, he's just like he's just a standard anime emo boy.
Yeah.
Nero Venetti. Let's go for Nero Venetti. He's I liked his character a lot. Again, he's the only one with actual charisma and with actual feeling towards him. I like his design. It's simple. He's got the gelled up hair. He's got the goatee. And he's got the best accent, I think, in the whole show.
It's true.
I like how they do eyebrows in this show too, especially for these like bigger characters. I don't know, like I'm always a fan of like the rigid lines, like how I think I mentioned it in other episodes with like just purely like men or kind of quote unquote trying to mimic realistic kind of faces. Like you've got the angry lines, you get some of the wrinkles on the faces. I just hold like the whole aesthetic of just like make them not look anime despite it being an anime.
Right?
Yeah.
Nero's pops, he also just the
Mr. Venetti.
coarseness of his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Signor Venetti, like it just
Signor
looks
Venetti.
good. Signor Venetti.
Hello, senor. How are you? I am doing well, my son.
Bien.
Muy bien. Mucho gusto.
So I mean, like he's fun. I think he suffered the most throughout the entire show. He lost his friends, he lost his family. He didn't lose his sister, which is good, but I guess she's like far away now. But
At least she's far away and safe.
exactly. Plus, he's tall, so he's awesome. All right, let's move on to the next important character. Let's talk about Corteo. I like Corteo to an extent. He's kind of whiny, but he's not as whiny as like any other character. But when he had to put his big boy pants on to beat up Fongo and do what he had to do for his friend, I was like, hey, I can stand behind that.
He's a man with honor, and that is something admirable.
Also, I hate the fact that it looks like me. And I was just like, oh my god, this is just me, and I can't believe I died.
I was waiting to say that.
I wanted somebody to say it, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go out and say it. That's literally me without a beard. If only I could have that luscious hair, though, that he has when his hair was down. That was awesome. I like that design. But yeah, he's just a good boy at heart. Just an overall good boy. Probably just not... He was in the wrong anime. He should have been isekai'd somewhere else. Let's see who else. Not many other people make a big impression other than Fongo at this point. Fongo is one of the, I guess, antagonists, but one of the more chaotic characters.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's the only one with like a weird ass red highlight in his hair.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was all about, but it was off-putting, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think? Hair down Fongo or hair slicked back Fongo?
Hair down.
Yeah, hair down Fongo.
Hair down Fongo. I don't know. I just gave him that personality.
Yeah. He looks
like
too,
It's the right vibe.
when he looks too formal, I don't know. Like, sometimes the juxtaposition is nice of having something that looks formal, but he's actually a total nut job. But I don't know. It fits him much better whenever it's down, and you can really... Just the craziest, unhinged, uncontrolled.
Also, this man loves getting hit.
Oh, yeah.
That was... I completely forgot about that scene. I'm like, what is going... Oh, right. This man loves getting whipped.
I was like, that makes me uncomfortable.
Oh man, yeah, you hate to see it. It was pretty rough. But I think he was one of the stronger, more entertaining characters in the show, which is nice.
Absolutely.
It looks like stupid little coconut head in that first design.
It's true. Very true.
Oh my god.
Well, when alcohol is illegal, you have to turn to other substances.
Yeah, you gotta make people care about you.
You tried this new beverage, Coca-Cola?
It's got real Coke in it. You mean it? I like the fact his voice actor was Shanks in the dub. That made me laugh. I was just like, thank you. You don't sound like Shanks, but I mean you do, but you're having fun with this role. I can tell. I don't ever hear him as a different voice, but that was nice hearing him as Fongo. I think it was Brandon Potter. Yeah, that's him. Good old Shanks.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for nothing, yeah. Filthy. No, I'm just kidding. You're great. Other than that, nobody else really stands out. Nope. You have Barbie. You have Barbaro, who is just like your help assistant. God. You have Sriracha sauce. You got Corvo, who didn't say anything. Del Toro was cool. He didn't say anything, but he had the coolest death. I think, in my opinion, he's like, "Oh, stab me once, shame on you. Stab me twice, break your neck."
Yeah. That was fucking awesome.
I wanted to see more of him. He was like, "Oh, he was messed up after the war." I'm like, "Show me, please show me." And I guess they showed you for like 2 seconds. Also, honorable mention Tigray for being Tigray. Special mention to Orko for being the best lasagna in the world.
He does make
and special mention
some good lasagna.
And special message to Vincent Vanetti for, I think, having the best performance out of all of them. Right. That was probably the best part or best character designed and voiced, both at the same time.
I agree with that.
But yeah, that's all the characters. I want to quickly jump into miscellaneous if you guys want. I got some.
I don't want to.
Not a lot of trivia though.
I don't want to.
Why?
Well, I'm not that high energy today, but I guess I can make it work.
Okay, so then the miscellaneous.
Welcome to the 72nd edition of Who's the Best Girl, the part of the podcast where each contestant put forward their choice Best Girl of the episode and duke it out for a title. Best Girl. Today our contestants were still the same. Garb, myself, Pino, and the Patreon. Woohoo! Did Patreon even pick anyone?
I think they picked Angelo.
Who?
I think they might have picked Angelo.
Okay, fair enough. I picked Nero.
I pick Corteo.
I pick Angelo.
Well, that makes it easier for you.
Yes, it does. All right. So since I'll start, since the Patreon also picked Angelo. I picked Angelo, even though despite the fact that I hate that he's the only one that looks like an anime character. I think that you know what? If his family were alive, he would have been a very nice boy. He's pretty reliable. This man can shoot you in cold blood if you look at him the wrong way. And he can lie straight up to your face and call you your friend. So you know what? I'd much rather have a good time with someone who hates me secretly than be shot on the spot. So thank you, Angelo, for not shooting me yet. Also, mostly because the fact that I'm a softie for those with revenge stories. So I'm just like, I just wanted to see this man win, and then when he won, at what cost? But yeah, no, I really liked the way they made him, the way he was. I just think they could have just done something a little better.
Yeah,
like give him a goatee. Or some stubble. Anything, please. Anything to make him look it's remotely Italian. Please, anything. Please, please.
Or like edgy. Like, yeah, I think stubble would have been a good one to make him look like he's not just like a total little clean boy.
Yeah. Which was a shame.
Yeah.
No trashing my... I mean, I think Chuck has no ability to trash anything at the moment.
He's just stinky. He's angry. Why is he so angry? He needs to stop.
Stop. Your parents are already dead.
He really got to stop holding that grudge.
I mean, you got to let it fester sometimes.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No.
He didn't. Look what happened.
Yeah, look, he's bad. He's stinky.
He's dead.
His hair's bad. His hair's whack. I don't like how anime he looks.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that he had like that haircut and then he had the shaved part under his hair. I was like...
Yeah, it was weird, right?
Yeah.
It was like a discount bowl cut. I don't like it.
Either comb the hair back, give him a mullet. I don't know. Give him something that makes me want to like you. But I like him. But I just don't like him that much.
Well, I don't... Also, his last name's Lagusa.
Hey, what's wrong with Lagusa, eh?
It's a dumb
That's my
name.
grandmother's name. That's Lagusa.
Guys, Nero's better.
Damn.
It's true.
Because he's got that cool ass beard and that like little nice looking hair. He's tall and he's now the Don.
Well, I mean, he's the only person now.
Still the Don. Donna won,
I'm
baby.
still the Don, baby.
And also,
Fetch me some water.
He's cool.
You get crickets. Thank you.
I hate this.
I love it.
He's the only character that I can even remember from this show.
Damn. That's true. They did say his name the most, I think.
They said Vanetti a lot. And Vanetti rhymes with spaghetti.
That's right.
All right, Garbus match.
Man, Corteo, him's a good boy, and he looks like our good Pinedo friend.
Who?
And, he's got honor. He tried to save his friend. He did everything he could, and he died with a smile on his face.
That's true. Only kings die with a smile on their face,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they die and before they die they're like, "Hey, smell this," and then they just go. If you fart before you die and get shot, you're a king to me. You're like, "Smell you later, buddy." Ugh.
If we ever have a show, I know exactly how it's gonna end.
Pino on his deathbed. Come closer. I need to tell you something. You smelt it, you dealt.
Got him.
Oh my god, Chuck's really out of it today. Jesus,
I don't care about this show.
Damn. I didn't care about the last show, and I gave more energy, man.
Yeah, because the last show had more to talk about.
Well, second season had a lot more to talk about.
Well, yeah, it had more to talk about. I'm just exhausted.
I don't know, man.
You got some trivia?
Trivia, yes.
I don't.
I do, actually.
Oh.
What's your trivia?
My bad, I'm
trivia.
sorry.
So I've got that here. So yes, I actually pulled up episode 11 of 91 Days was postponed for a week. Let's see. Production difficulties caused it to be delayed, which was exactly what I thought it was, because episode 11 was still kind of rough.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because that's where the better of the portion of the show happened.
Right.
So, just having the animation kind of take a hit in the later half of the series is kind of a shame. Other things that I also mentioned in the Patreon, this was actually recently rerun a couple months ago, and then again a couple months before that on Japanese TV, which was interesting, because I was just out of the blue looking on Twitter. I'm like, maybe there's like 91 day posts here, and they had like their official Twitter and whatnot. I was like, okay, cool. And then they had their official website. I was like, even cooler. And that's where I got most of the information from. But yeah, I mean, I guess they did something. I guess they did something right that warranted them to replay it twice on different channels.
Interesting.
I guess.
I mean, hey, it happens. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really get to dig up too much of it. I wanted to see if there was anything like any like interviews with like director or anything from like the animation studio, but it was really hard to find a lot of things, which kind of sucks, because I kind of wanted to see what's the thought process behind of like
what the deal was,
why they chose it, like why they specifically chose this specific location, why they did what they did. But nothing really popped up, which was a shame. I wanted to at least read up a little bit more.
Well,
I don't know. It's fine.
It happens. All right.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to sleep. I mean, ratings.
Guys,
I'm gonna let Chuck go first.
Guys,
yeah, I'm gonna let Chuck go first.
I'm gonna go first, because I don't care enough to talk. You go rewind back to when we were talking about the ending. That's how I feel about this show. It doesn't do anything particularly well. It doesn't do the mafia genre well. It takes too long to get going, and once it gets going, it doesn't commit to any one idea, so it doesn't keep you engaged fully. And for that, I'm probably just gonna have to get it like a 2.6.
That makes sense.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Garb?
I enjoyed this show, but it really does not do anything exceptionally. It also kind of falters a little bit, so I don't even want to give it like anything like above average. So I'm gonna give it straight right in the middle, 2.5.
All right.
Fair enough.
So with this show, I think it's great being able to rewatch shows I've seen like a year or 2 years, or what was it, 3 years ago? It's nice being able to rewatch shows.
Time is relative.
Time is relative. I do remember initially, like I said, I watched this in like the same day, maybe one sitting. I think I remember stopping for lunch and then coming back to my computer and being like, you know what, I might as well finish this. Initially I enjoyed everything about it, mostly because I'm a big Mafia nut. Second time around, I was able to see a lot of the flaws that I guess my original brain, because remember, this is, what is it, Pino 2.2 now? I forget. My original thoughts were changed, and like we've seen a lot of shows that done even like remotely mention Mafia or has some Mafia aspects to it better, as Chuck previously mentioned, like Bacchanal, and even shows with like Yakuza or anything. Like Durarara, like they had their Yakuza, they weren't the main focus, but they still did it exceptionally great. Yeah. I do still think there is a sort of charm to this that only maybe people who just want to change the pace will enjoy. Again, like I'm not against like, hey, making your shows wacky, wild, getting them wild grand animations to keep up the hype. Because I live for that stuff. Like I enjoy all of that stuff. And despite my thoughts on last episodes where it was like, oh, it's so stinky, like that animation was great. It was like the best thing in the world. In this case, it's such an opposite kind of feeling with this one because there was not a lot to show animation-wise. There wasn't really a lot to show even music-wise, but I still think overall, thematically, again, that's always going to be my thing. Like thematically, everything I think just clicked for me. Everything felt like it should have been a Mafia movie. It just wasn't. It didn't hold up as intended, I think.
Yeah.
Which again is a real shame. I would be lying to you if I said I hated this, because I still think the moments where it shines, it still shines. Yeah. Either not as brightly, but it's still something that I personally would watch. Would I recommend this to just any standard anime fan? Probably not, because you're probably looking for something with a little more depth in one sort of area or another, or something in the middle with like a perfect blend of everything. Would I recommend this to some outsider? Probably, mostly because it's just, I think it's, despite the fact that the story isn't really there's enough to maybe get them to warm up to an anime, but not like without like throwing titties everywhere.
That's fair enough.
I think that if there had been more effort placed into the families and the location, things would have worked a lot better. So my final rating, I think this is going to be a 3.1 for me because I still enjoyed it a lot. I just think that they just needed a little bit more to do so.
Yeah, I think one aspect is like I don't hate the show. It has, a couple little things going for it with the Mafia. You don't see that a lot in anime. But it's not spectacular. It just doesn't do anything. Like Pino said, it's not really a super in your face show. And there's just nothing for me. This just isn't my kind of show. And I can respect that. Pino, this is like you're like one of your favorite genres, so I'm like, I get it. It's just not for me.
it's nice to just see them try. At least the fact that even though it's kind of stinky that they did try and didn't really do too well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I just want to see more of it because like nowadays we have all these beautifully animated shows and like wonderful kind of like things like Demon Slayer like looks and sounds amazing. Like One Piece finally is now looking great and sounds even better than it has before. And even like these newer shows, like that rock climbing one that we're watching, and even the new Love Live, they're all great, and they're all just like visual spectacles. But like sometimes I just need a little break from all this kind of like stuff, and I need something that just feels more grounded. But I don't want to watch a damn movie. I just want to watch an anime about a movie about things that I like. It's just that mood. I just have that kind of weird mood. Despite that, it's going to be some people's favorite thing. It's going to be some people's worst thing, or you're just in the middle. And I think this is just one of those that you might want to take a shot at if you just like Mafia themed things. But yeah, that was 91 days, all in 13 episodes. It really didn't feel like 91 days until they actually mentioned.
Yeah, until they were like,
it's been 91 days.
Yeah, they're like, it's been 3 months, and I'm like, okay.
Thank you. I now know why it's called 91 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, would I watch it again eventually? Actually, I don't know.
I will not.
I just like it.
I'm not lying to you. I will not.
Yeah, that's part of why.
I mean, I'm already having
having
an inkling to watch Black Lagoon again. I actually need to watch. I need to watch Roberta's Blood Trials. I keep forgetting to put that on the filler
list. I would
list.
watch Black Lagoon again.
Yeah, right.
I that was one of the shows that I've just been I was way too hard on. Like,
I mean, that's fair. There was those 2 kids.
I fucking hate those kids. Fuck those kids. All my homies hate kids. But
we said it before. Kids suck.
Kids do suck. But yeah. Do we got anything else before we're heading on to our next adventure?
Not really. I kind of just want to watch The Godfather now, though.
I have it.
I want to sit down with my old man and watch these Mafia movies. He's the one who got me into all this.
I have it on VHS.
I swear, if in another life my family was a mob family,
You'd be
or
dead.
at least my dad's side. I don't know.
Yakuza Pino.
Yakuza Pino, it happens. I would have been the next Robert De Niro. Well, no, my dad would.
You would have been the next Robert De Niro Jr.
Yeah, you know, that's what I like about you. No. What are we watching next week?
We are watching season 1 of ReZero.
Oh, thank you. And that is because our lovely patrons for the Patreon pick. Remember, if you subscribe and are part of one of the tiers that I never remember,
$10
you
tier.
too can also. Thank you. Say that again.
$10 tier.
The $10 tier. You can also
Being
be
a
part
supporting character.
You can be a supporting character and make us watch shows you want us to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Last time y'all chose Flowers of Evil, we had a big split between us, but maybe this one will be the great uniter. Who knows?
Right.
All I know is there's blue hair and pink hair girl, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. This is one that's very popular, but I've never seen it. I've only seen people
I've watched
talk about
part
it.
of one episode, and that's it. So we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Well, and that's just season 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 25 episodes, I think it is. So
Makes sense.
Get hype, y'all.
Get hype.
All right, this has been the Fairly Long Anime Podcast. This is probably another 2-hour episode, I'm assuming, boys.
God,
my
that's
God.
that's why I've been falling asleep.
I mean, hey, we haven't stopped making 2-hour episodes since the beginning of the season, I think, right?
We've been recording for 91 days.
What do you mean? It's my first day.
What are you talking about? I've
Look,
been doing this for years.
Man, you know we had to bring in that Bobo reference.
Bubble
God,
Bowl residue.
the
Every
residual
episode
bows,
has
you know?
Bubble Bowl residue.
Residual bows.
Anywho, how about maybe we bury our accents until we actually find a better Mafia-themed show or anything related to Mafia next time? What do you say, boys?
Okay.
We'll be back.
I won't be back.
Into Pandora's box we go.
Yo.
What's a cicada gonna do for me?
What's the Don gonna do for me?
Get in the box.
Anyways, Chuck, would you like to say the thing?
No.
All right, well then tell your mom you love her and tell your father
That you'll see him next Christmas.
Anyways, thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.